Okay. I guess we only got 20 minutes, so let's get started. So hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. This is the project Heat project update. And just for the quick note that we're going to have a Heat onboarding sessions at the afternoon, 1:50, I think. So hi, I'm recalling from Openstack. And you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Zane Better from Red Hat.
I'm Christian Hall from NTT.
Yeah, and the slides also on the website on the web as well. So you can using the quick link. You can download entire slides. Of course, the video going to cancel later. So what is Heat? So Heat is a very interesting project that's the only core project, one of the core projects of OpenStack that you can remove it, you still can do all the functionalities. But the thing is that we have a lot on helping holding the dependencies, holding the resource managements. Like it's probably the best way and the only way you can like have a bunch of resources and grouping them together and with a dependency and maybe even talk to like we're talking about rolling upgrade or batch update. We have documents and there's if you like to check out document release now, there's a link for you. And the adoption rate I think now is like higher, like you mentioned like 70 to 80%.
I think for public clouds it's 75%. Like overall it's 69%. So yep. Not all private clouds are using it, but most public clouds, OpenStack clouds obviously are now using Heat. So
yep, sweet.
Yeah.
And give plus for all the contributors we have, like they're doing a lot with the commits and reviews. And if you can see that Zambitter is actually one that on the top of every like doing everything. So he's doing everything to tie things up. Yeah. And
you're all slacking.
So that's good to be quick. So what we have in Quint's feature is that first thing that we used to tell people that we're not compatible with federations, but it turned out it's not true. We're actually capable to deal with the federations. I mean, Keystone federations. You have to like you have to provision the map from federation to make sure the trust we have is actually connected. But anyway, there's a way to do it. And if you click the auto provision map, you can see what is auto provision map it is, and that works. And the new feature we have Octavia resource out. And Octavia is like the next neutral load balancer thing. It's like very serious stuff. It's improved a lot of network performance for load balancer. So we have the resource out, and I think we recommend you guys to using it if you want a neutral resource. I mean with load balancer. And the policy in code, we have updated the policy in code. So right now you don't actually need a policy file default in your Heat environment. So the policy.json, you can, if you're not doing anything change, you can just remove it. If you want to do any change, you just put the part that you want to change. That will be easier. And if you don't have file, potentially you will get faster in your environment. Also, we have a Heat dashboard. We will talk about, give you more information about Heat dashboard later. And we have like more like REST API for cancel stack update or create. And there is some I would say worth mentioning because we now move the document of Heat is now move back, and the maintenance of the documents. I mean that for every project, the maintenance of the document is in the Heat. So if you want to do that, that's the place. And Nova instance is right now like we're using directly force delete. I mean we force it like even when you said it's a soft delete. Sorry, we still force it to like hard delete because there is actually harmful for when you're trying to orchestrate the entire plan. And some Nova instances just say they deleted. They tell you it deleted, but it actually not, which is not good for orchestration. So we now force it.
So that only affects people who've turned on the obscure soft delete feature in Nova. But yeah. So don't turn on that feature. But if you do, we now handle it correctly.
Cool. And there's a more like new property for resource. You can tag in the template parameter, And there is also the removal policies for resource group, and there's like you can like using the attributes in the project, the Keystone project resource. For further, we remove the CloudWatch API, which we think is not necessary to. Yeah, we got the thumb, yes. And the heat HA restarter, again, there's thumb. Yeah, it's like we have plans for other stuff. Like we mostly do it. We will like we already send out mailing list, and it appears nobody like seeing it is a thing now, and it's lack of maintenance, so we remove it. And the default policy, as I say, and the SSO middleware and the resource side custom constraint. Well, and we deprecate the aid learn and the designate domain and designate record. You can use it to replace to do all that. So give no worry about what we deprecated. And we probably will like remove the deprecation resource hide them. We don't actually remove the code in the short term, but we will hide it and try to migrate your systems to using the new one.
We haven't actually done that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Yeah. And Rocket, so right now we have the rolling upgrade support. I mean, we absolutely got the ability rolling upgrade, but right now we got a tag from the TC, and it's like we already have a consistent gate to make sure that we won't break the rolling upgrade ability. And also we are the extension for the heat core projects now. So you can call heat as a required as definition to be OpenStack cloud. The extension part is like just not to break the previous interrupt task, but yeah, you can call it like we are the official project. And we have some work in progress that we have discussed a lot of in the PDGs, and we have more discussions under discussions, like some exciting feature. So we're going to trying to investigate how we're going to support the etcd. I mean, is that getting better if we're trying to move some log management to etcd? So we're trying to investigate on that. For the record, heat is distributed, so we don't have like a single point stuff. So it's actually just for inner like a resource management log, and so we're doing it. And dashboard, we're going to give you some show about that. And the Swift template we are working on is that we're going to allow the Swift as a backend for the template that you're going to throw into heat. And so potentially, right now it's work in progress. Robbie is working on that. And potentially you only need to give the relative name pass to the template in the Swift. And we will grab that template and whatever the trial template there is. And we're not removing the mocks, which in good process. And we already have a Tempest plugin out, and we going to do more stuff like to make sure that it's pure branchless, which is now we have a wrapper to say some new test is only for Rocket, some new test is only for S release. So right now it is, and we're going to do a lot more plan. Like we have to separate the interrupt test out of the Tempest plugin to another repo. But anyway, like most of that work is also done, and the repayment of the rest condition. You want to have anything?
Oh, I thought you were working on that.
Yeah, but anyway, we try a lot to reduce the rest conditions, and I'm not going to go into further details, but the condition getting better, and of course, if you see or met with any kind of conditions or other failure, like you can also report to us. Well, yes.
So the goal is to reduce the amount of logic you have to have in the client. If you have a failure and you want to retry, right now you have to check timestamps and stuff if you see another failure, to like is it because there was a second failure, or we just didn't report that it went back into progress yet?
Yeah.
So the goal is trying to reduce some of that logic on the client side.
Yeah. And for further plans that we have is that I would say this one is like we definitely going to make it. Is that we're going to try to have the multi-cloud support, which multi-cloud means like two across two OpenStack clouds. We're trying to make it work. The way we're going to think about going to implement it is probably through the application credential. And that is not, the work itself is not started yet, but we already have discussions on that in Pedigree, and we definitely going to try to make sure that is happening in Rocket. And improvement the failure handling at the scheduling group. You want to talk?
So there was some feedback, I think, at the last summit
Yes.
from folks saying, when you have a large scaling group with 100 resources, 99 of them succeed and one of them fails, that we're not handling everything in the most optimal way, and you end up having to redo a lot of stuff. So we have a couple of ideas for how we can tinker with that to hopefully avoid having to redeploy the 99 things, and you can just update the one that's failed. So.
Yeah. So we do have other stuff other discussions. And if you guys have any idea, like any feedback or like anything that you think is very important, essential in Heat, to please help us. Then we need more developer, we need more reviewer, and we glad to accept new idea, new features to make Heat as a thing for your environments, for user. And yeah, this is something that we not actually planned it before, like in Pedigree, but it suddenly happened. And so the thing is that we migrate to Storyboard now. And the difference is that all your Launchpad bug is now inside a Storyboard. And so if you want to report a thing, a bug, a blueprint, please report it at the Storyboard, which we have guidelines. We're trying to put up the guidelines to show you how you're going to deal with it, all the Q&As, and there's guideline link. You can access. If anything that's unclear, you can try to find us in the IRC Heat channel, and we will try to help you to do the migration. So basically, things like easier is like you have your Launchpad bug ID is exactly your story in the storyboard, so you won't try to mess up with trying to find it. And if you got any issues, like you can find us, we can help you anyway. So please aware of that. Report it on the storyboard now and ever. We're not going to move back to Launchpad, so there's no Launchpad for Heat already. Heat dashboard cost.
Yep. As you might know, we split out the dashboard function for Heat from Horizon repo. Now the Heat dashboard is an independent repository and as a Horizon plugin. So since Queen Cycle, if you want to take a dashboard function for Heat, then you need to install Heat dashboard plugin apart from the Horizon, along with Horizon. And we already prepared install document, install manual. You can hopefully you can easily install Heat dashboard too in your environment. And same as Heat, we also moved to the storyboard side. So if you need to raise a bug or a blueprint, please make it your task or ticket story. I forgot the name.
Storyboard.
Yeah, story. Yeah. Okay. On the storyboard. Please next. And you can keep using existing, dashboard function for Fit. Addition to that, we developed this week the user-friendly function to create your template. The motivation here is that we want to make it easier for a non-technical user also can make a Heat template easily. Okay. And I made a demo video, so please check this video if you are interested in that.
We're going to give you the link for the slide, so you can find the slide and find a video link. And so how do you get the feedback? So so we have so for update information, we have the weekly meeting in the 140 at the UTC time. Weekly, we're trying to make it weekly. We're not going to try to easily skip any of our meetings. So if there's anything feedback, anything you want to discuss, you think it's a good topic or not, please come to our meetings and join us. That we can talk about whatever the topic it is. There is also, I put a use case Etherpad. So if you have any use cases that you want us to know, and please help us to file your use cases in the Etherpad. I mean, we were trying to make sure that whatever you're typing is keep passing through the, so user can have more information on what other users doing, and if developer can have more information on what users doing. So it's very important for user and the developer, I think. And file a story in the storyboard. I mean, the story means blog and bullet points, exactly. And file a story if you find anything wrong, you find anything interesting. You can find, and anything you can find, like you can find there's Zan and Rabbit and May and Thomas and Kat. We are a lot of people. Please just come to our channels and find mailing lists. Just find any way you can. We will try to reach back. How to contribute is like so. Right now, the notes mentioned is just the storyboard, and we have onboarding sessions at the 150. That's not for the video, but for you guys. So if you guys have time to join us. And the team meeting on Wednesday, 2 o'clock afternoon for UTC time, and we have a release document. Most of our resources on the link now. So there is the link for the slides, and like that's probably what we need to update, or we have to update. So any questions?
Yeah, I do have one. So could you say a bit more about moving the Horizon dashboard, the Heat dashboard away from Horizon? So first of all, what were the reasons for that? And second of all, does that mean that as of now, the Heat will have a separate web interface, or is it simply, or will it continue to be part of Horizon, just simply the code base for the Horizon plugin is somewhere else?
Yeah, it's just where the code is stored.
Yeah, it's definitely exactly blocking for
the same.
Horizon. Yes.
The same as another dashboard plugins that we how can I say, the Heat dashboard along with the Horizon. So a part of the Horizon code, the architecture totally following up the Horizon plugins architecture. So.
Okay, so why was it moved out?
But basically, Horizon would like to not have to maintain plugins. They would like projects to maintain their own plugins. And if Kaz and his team, if they were going to contribute to the Heat dashboard while it was still in tree in the Horizon repo, they would have to get everything reviewed by Horizon cores, which is a big burden on Horizon cores. So basically, by putting in a different repo, which is the only change, everything else is still the same.
Yeah.
It means he and his team can write the code, but also review it.
Yeah, so that's why we are saying split out. Yeah, we didn't change anything, the existing code of the Heat. And also the smaller piece is really easier to manage. So that's why, yeah.
So right now we already have a drop-in, drop-out ability to drop around you and make a template for yourself. It's easier for you to see. And I think Kaz and his team were trying to keep update and adding new functionalities that I would say is good improvement for what we have. Yes.
Yeah, the dashboard had not been improved in many, many years, in part because it was kind of languishing in the Horizon code base, and there wasn't the ability for people from Heat to come in and say, hey, we want to improve the dashboard. So you should see more improvements in the dashboard from now on, but other than that, it's the same code.
Yes.
Same thing.
Okay, so is that last questions? No. Okay, so I think we hit the time, and thanks everybody to come, and I see you then this week, and thanks Dan and Cass to present. So thank you all.
Thanks everybody.
Yep.